What's up, guys? I put out a video yesterday in Spanish of the court proceedings and certain things. I didn't do it in English, and I'm sorry about that. I've just been extremely busy, and now I'm like translating in Spanish and in English, and it's hard to do everything. But I am gonna tell you some things that you already know, and I'm gonna tell you things that you don't know. And I had to do my own investigations to figure out what the hell is going on. So as it turns out, the 12 suspects showed up in court. You already know that. You all seen the videos everywhere, including on the news. They all got charged: first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and a couple of other charges. And you also saw this guy just smiling, dancing, and rapping to himself. So while he was leaving, then the mom screamed out this, which means murderers. And of course, you know, the court officers had to approach her and tell her she can't do that. One good thing about the whole thing is that they kept both of the families separated, the ones from the victims and the ones from the people that are being accused. Now, one of the things I want to tell you that you guys don't know, and I just had to figure this out because I was listening to another news reporting where they were doing an interview with one detective, and it turns out this detective brought something to light that I didn't even know about, and I don't think a lot of you knew about it.
Are these individuals, Manny, known to police?
Yes.
And for what?
Well, Jose Munoz, which you see on the video holding the black machete, which is actually the lead killer in them, he was involved with the Hanso Arias stabbing back in 2012.
It turns out nothing would have ever happened to Junior if the Bronx DA would have done their job. But because we have this bullshit mayor of New York who's always, like, you know, changing laws and everything to benefit more the criminals than the actual victims, here's what ended up happening. Jose Munoz, which is the reason why Junior was killed, he was the one that stabbed him with the fatal blow to his neck. It turns out he was being investigated for 3 previous murders.
Jose Munoz, which you see on the video holding the black machete, which is actually the lead killer in them, he was involved with the Hanso Arias stabbing back in 2012.
Which Pix11 reported on.
That's
we
exactly
worked on that
correct.
together.
And actually, Pix11 has the video of him being one of the individuals chasing Hanso Arias. Now, Darcel Clark, the Bronx District Attorney, knew this. I brought that to their attention. Not only that, I brought his picture of him in court supporting the other Trinitarios that were captured. This is going back to 2012. He's involved in 3 murders that I'm investigating.
So how is he still on the street?
You know what the problem is that nobody would listen. Nobody would listen until Pix11 showed how heinous and vicious this video was. And I hate to say this, but if it wasn't for us witnessing the death of him being stabbed and the fear in his face, this would have gone unknown again. But he was never arrested. I gave them the information. Never.
And I wanted to bring up that
He should have never died, Junior.
I wanted to think he should have never died.
No, it was he died in vain. He died in vain. They knew who the murderer was for 2 years. Not only the Bronx District Attorney, but the police department. And Pix11 has covered those stories, and James Ford has done them with me numerous times. We've had this conversation God knows how many times.
Yeah.
All right? And what have they done? Nothing. Unfortunately, I'm not going to let Junior's death go in vain.
And yet he was out on the street. Nobody had arrested him, and he was being investigated for even a murder that happened at a McDonald's on Webster Avenue in 2012, where 2 other Trinitario gang members were arrested last year for that 2012 case. Here's where the story goes crazy, because it turns out that there was one person arrested in 2012 who had nothing to do with the murder.
I crossed the street right here in Webster, and the police stopped me. They arrested me.
That's Enger Javier, an innocent bystander who ended up being held at Rikers for 2 years for the crime. The video of him not committing it got him finally freed. It was found by this private investigator.
As you can see in the video, he was walking with his girlfriend while holding a drink in his hand, and he was on clear video. And yet they still arrested him, and he did 2 years in Rikers before this detective kept showing them the video and everything, and then they finally figured out they arrested him mistakenly. That's how corrupt the system is completely. They will still try to find a way to keep you in jail even though you're innocent. Now, For those people who say that the video shows everything so nobody ever needs witnesses, then you tell me why all these murderers are walking freely to continue murdering. Now let's go back to the whole story, because you know it becomes like even more crazy for anybody to even think how these people were allowed to walk the streets freely to continue murdering. So we already know Muniz was being investigated for 3 murders, including the 2012 murders that the other 2 guys from the Trinitario were arrested last year for. But now check this out. Those 2 guys that were arrested for the murders of the 2012 last year, they were being investigated for the murder of this kid in 2010.
More surveillance video he got. He says it's the same 2 suspects wielding the machetes they used in the 2010 murder of Mohammed Jallow in Upper Manhattan. The DA there declined to comment, and police have not charged these men in that case, even though a witness has identified them. But
I'm not sure if you're getting the pattern right now. It turns out that the Bronx DA doesn't want to arrest anybody, even though this video was out.
In this surveillance video minutes after a bloody, fatal stabbing in the summer of 2012. We have to warn you about what the video showed minutes earlier. That's Hansel Arias running from people who minutes later will kill him in a South Bronx parking lot.
And they have this video and Jose Muniz and the 2 guys who were arrested last year on complete footage running and even catching up to the guy, and they haven't arrested these guys. They waited 5 years to arrest 2 of them, and Jose Muniz was out freely to continue murdering. Of course he felt the power of cockiness, you know, to continue murdering since he's not getting caught. Bronx DA didn't want to do their job. If it wasn't for this detective, this guy would have been in jail past 2 years. God knows if he was sentenced to 25 to life for the murder of Hansel Arias when he was just drinking a soft drink and walking with his girlfriend. We don't even know what other stories the other suspects have on them, because it turns out the Bronx DA is not doing their job. We don't know if there's other investigations or other criminal activities even before this, and they didn't want to arrest them, and I doubt that they want to release that information to the public to infuriate them more than what they already are. I just wanted to give you that information. You guys can comment below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this and other stuff. I will let you go because I have to get back to work. So till the next time, peace.